Now, the coronavirus and the subsequent lockdown, which followed, changed in significant ways how we work, commute, and interact with our friends and loved ones. Home and workspace became more intertwined, so much that there became a need for us to carve out a time for work in between having to be with loved ones in the same space. And that is for those who didn't spend the lockdown alone. But again, work happened online and virtually through Zoom and, say, FaceTime calls. This situation also inspired a renewed reliance on certain devices, one of which is the noise-canceling headphones and earbuds. So today, we are going to be reviewing and comparing two of those premium noise-canceling headphones. My name is Emeko Kereke and
I'm Reem. I'm back.
yeah. First off, we are now in Berlin. Last time that we reviewed,
we were in Barcelona.
Yes, and that was the Beoplay H95
with the AirPods Max.
Exactly. And we were in Barcelona, but we are back in Berlin. And what's more is that we are now in our own studio. So this is the first time that we are reviewing proper in our own studio, and we're happy to be doing this.
Feels great.
Today we are going to be reviewing two headphones as usual, one of which is from
the Beoplay H10.
Yes, and the other one is the BOWERS and Wilkins PX7. The makers of these two headphones have been at the forefront of audio engineering and equipment manufacturing for a long time. In fact, you will find them in the top 10 list of the world best audio equipment makers. BOWERS and Wilkins, the English company, has been around since 1966, while Bang Olufsen, which is a Danish company, is inching towards their centenary, that is 100 years of being in business. So when we're talking about these headphones in 2021, there's very little to worry about because these companies really do understand the science of sound. As a matter of fact, with these headphones we are reviewing today, the question of sound will most likely come down to personal taste. This review, however, goes beyond sound to look at design, portability, and everyday usability. Eventually, we will weigh that against the price, which, by the way, at the time of this review, the Beoplay HX is at €499, while the BOWERS and Wilkins PX7 can be found at discount price for around €320 to €355. So, let's get right into it. Design. What do you think?
Okay. So something I like about this one is both of them are like really premium quality, but this one feels like a really well built headphone, the B&O. It's super light, incredibly light, especially compared to the H95.
When it comes to design, both of these headphones have been designed to look and feel luxurious, and they are both what we call over-ear headphones. The BOWERS and Wilkins PX7 sports a cloth finish on the headband as well as on the ear cups. They weigh 310 grams and have large ear cups. But BOWERS and Wilkins have managed to reduce the weight of the headphones by using a carbon fiber material for the headband. This also makes the headband quite durable. The outer side of the ear cups is made of aluminium and beautifully sports BOWERS and Wilkins emblem. As for the Beoplay HX, Bang Olufsen is deliberate with their attempt to sell these cans as made of sustainable materials. So you have pearl blasted anodized aluminum for the ear cups, cowhide, lambskin, and knitted fabric for other areas. But most importantly, it continues the consistency in design language the company has been known for since 1929. Now, both headphones have almost similar design with how the headband connects with the ear cups. Speaking of ear cups, the BOWERS and Wilkins PX7 sports an oval-shaped design, while the Beoplay HX went for a circular, round design. The ear cups are detachable for both headphones, but it is mainly for maintenance purposes. While the Beoplays are cumbersome to detach, those of the BOWERS and WILKINS PX7 are even more difficult. Now, what about comfort?
Well, to be honest, they're quite similar. They don't fit as nicely as like the AirPods Max did for me.
One of the main selling points of the Beoplay HX is that it is lightweight. At 285 grams, it is only slightly lighter than the BOWERS and WILKINS PX7. But in real life usage, it feels much more portable because it is more streamlined and less bulky. The headband of the PX7 is somewhat excessive and might even feel a little ridiculous when worn on a small head. Now, speaking of which, Rim and I discussed extensively about this whole idea of fitting on the head, and she has something to say about how these headphones fit on certain heads.
As a female petite consumer, so many of these headphones fall off of my head. Like when I'm just around the house, I'm not even doing like very extraneous work. I'm just moving around, bending my head, maybe like making my bed, I don't know, anything. And it just feels like it falls off. And like, okay, right now it's not falling off. But it makes me wonder who these are really designed for. And so for me, like really, as a consumer, I think the headphone world should start designing more for women as well, or like ones that are more compatible with the female physique. So, because these do oftentimes feel they're designed for a male head. Like it fits you really well, I think.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, it does fit me very well. But again, I think that my head from the onset, right from, day one, has been pre-designed for headphones.
Yeah, but I don't know who like when they design these headphones, who are they actually thinking about? Like this is actually a question. Like if you know, like please write in the comments, because I really don't know. Like when they prototype these, like I know they use in ads, like I know for some of the ads of the B&O they use a woman, but it's when the actual production side and when they're creating it, how often do they have women in mind?
Yeah, so that's an interesting point to actually make, because more and more it feels like women show up when it's time to do the publicity.
Because women have always been a potential kind of seller, right? A product. It makes it more attractive.
Yeah.
But then what's more important to me as a user is, are you bringing the female experience in at the forefront, at the design stage?
Next would be, practicality, taking it with you and commuting with it. It's one thing for it to be, practical and all of this on paper, but how does it feel when you are out and about with it, hanging it on your neck, storing it when you don't need it, and all of that? How does it feel for you? And which one is better?
I think the Bang & Olufsen is definitely lighter. I prefer it. Whereas, but the BOWERS and Wilkins is somehow more compatible with just like leaving it here. When I'm commuting, both of them are quite similar. Both of them feel kind of alien to my head. They don't, like as I was talking about in terms of being more petite, etc. Like it's, both of them definitely feel like a barrier between me and the world. So
when it comes to comfortability, much of it depends on personal preference. Size of head, earrings, glasses or not, So it is important that before you buy these headphones, you test these out before you make your final decision. But in all, the little downsides and comfortability between these two headphones are not such a deal breaker, if you ask me.
to talk about. Okay. Okay.
All right. First of all, ANC and transparency mode. Which one works? Let's get right into it.
Okay, first of all, what a disappointment, B&O. What is this? Like, I used your H95s. They were great, you know. They were like super premium quality. This one, the ANC is just is not even comparable. It's just not even up to industry standard. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the fact that it's a new headphone, you would expect it to have really high quality ANC. Number one, it distorts a lot of the bass, a lot of the high volume when you use the noise canceling. Two, it's very unclear. Like, it removes some of the lower frequency, but then if there's people speaking nearby, etc., I can hear them super clearly as if the noise canceling is not there. And when I'm commuting, when I'm walking, sometimes I have a hard time knowing the difference, feeling the difference between the neutral and the ANC.
Yeah.
And the transparency mode in these Bang & Olufsen is just horrible.
Yeah.
Because even though it does amplify a lot of the noise around you, it feels somewhat artificial. Like when I put it on and I suddenly hear the street, or like when I'm in my house and I hear the balcony more, it does definitely amplify the sound, but it doesn't feel natural. It feels like this kind of digital, kind of old radio tuning in frequency.
Especially because they've come up with the H95 before.
Yeah, that's why it's surprising.
Yes, and also they already have the AirPods Max and the AirPods Pro as reference. So when you are coming out with a 500 euro headphones, you should be asking yourself, how can I even get close? And
better. You know?
Benefit of the doubt. You know, let's just try and be a little bit fair. How can I even get close? And this is the extent of my criticism for the ANC and transparency, because in our time, transparency mode is as much important as the ANC. In fact, they go hand in hand. So if you get the ANC okay and you don't get the transparency mode, and this is what Apple understood very well. And this is why, again, the AirPods Max continues to be the reference.
With the BOWERS and Wilkins PX7, it feels much more natural, even though perhaps the quality of the transparency is not comparable to the AirPods Max. It feels far more natural.
Yeah. One thing I have to point out is that they both have adaptive, noise cancellation, which is they can adapt to different levels. For the BOWERS and Wilkins, you have, I think, 3 different modes, which is high, low, and auto. While
the B&O, it's like they have neutral, ANC, and transparent.
Yeah.
And you just toggle them with the button, which I like, which is better than the H95, which had the knob. But with this one, what's kind of cool and cute is like there's a woman that speaks, or like a voice that speaks, that tells you, oh, transparency mode, oh, noise canceling. So there's never a doubt about what's happening. Whereas with the Bang & Olufsen, I'm like, oh, is this neutral? Is this noise canceling? I don't know.
Now, the biggest difference between these two headphones is how their touch operations are implemented. For the BOWERS and Wilkins PX7, much of it is with physical buttons, while for the Beoplay HX, it is with touch sensors on the right ear cup, mainly on the right ear cup.
In the beginning, when the first week I was using it and toggling around with it, I had a really hard time because I was like, it's not working. But then once I realized that the secret is just pressing a little harder, so then it started to work perfectly. And so, and the side one, you have to really go all across. And once I realized that, I started to love the touch feature. And actually going back to the BOWERS and Wilkins, it didn't feel as nice. What about you?
I find that Bang & Olufsen did a pretty bad job at implementing these touch sensors. For headphones in this price range, it is my unshakable, unrelenting belief that it should have been better, especially since there are already better references in the market. Take, for instance, Sony 1000 XM4. Still speaking of the Beoplay HX, the surface of the ear cups is rough to touch, almost as if it's scratching the surface of your finger. More so because all the touch operations are done on this surface. To advance your song or audio content, swipe forward. To go back to the previous, swipe backwards. For volume, swipe clockwise inside the circular groove of the right ear cup. To play or pause the audio, tap the center of the right ear cup accordingly. Now in practice, I could hardly get the play pause button to work consistently. This is a general problem with touch sensor headphones. I really wish that Bang & Olufsen had considered physical buttons as opposed to the touch sensors, or maybe even go the Apple AirPods Max way and opt for a rotating dial, especially because this time they borrowed from Apple's playbook with the implementation of the ANC button on the left ear cup. So they should have done the same for the right ear cup for everything. The AirPods Max is still the champion when it comes to seamless operation and effortless task management with ANC headphones. And by the way, let us know in the comment section if you would like us to do a comparison between the Beoplay HX and the AirPods Max. BOWERS and Wilkins seems to have evaded this problem by using buttons. But what BOWERS and Wilkins need to do in the next iteration of these headphones is to simplify the process. There's just too much clicks here and there. It could be exhausting. The whole idea is for these things to get off the way if you're using them. If you are tinkering and struggling with your headphones to make it work all the time, then it defeats the aim.
I would argue, though, that they figured out how the volume here better than before. Yeah, like the H95s, the touch, I agree, was actually not that good. With this one, it actually works for me really well.
Okay.
It's a nicer feel.
All right. So what do you think? Leave a comment in the comment section.
So something that I like about the AirPods Max is like it's a little knob. And then with this one, you can really play with the range, like a little louder, a little less loud. Whereas the BOWERS and Wilkins, they're little buttons. And so sometimes that feels old school, like boom, 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 you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, and speaking of old school, RIM is in a new school, like deeply entrenched in the new school. So I'm somewhere in between. So I guess that's where my bias is coming from. Now, both headphones come with a mobile app for Android and iOS. The BOWERS and Wilkins PX7 comes with an app, but it's just bare bones. Sometimes it's even redundant because you can control the ANC and transparency mode, which at the same time you can do directly from the headphones. However, it comes in handy for firmware updates. It does not have the ability to customize the sound to your taste. In other words, it has just one sound signature. And this, in my opinion, is a pity. On the other hand, the mobile app of the Beoplay is robust.
Yeah, man. Like, okay, so when I used this, the first 2 weeks, I had a lot of technical issues with the app and I just didn't use it. And then I finally figured it out. And once I did, it was a game changer, serious game changer.
You can do a lot with it. For starters, you can only activate the wear sensor through the app. If you are not connected to the mobile app, you can't have the wear sensor feature. Strange, but better than nothing because the Beoplay H95 didn't come with any. However, the biggest advantage with the Beoplay HS app is that you can personalize the sound to your taste. This also we'll get into much later. By the way, if you are enjoying this content so far, consider subscribing. I see the statistics. It says that many of you watching this are not yet subscribed. So why don't you join the multicultural, eclectic community we are building here by clicking on the subscribe button somewhere here. All right, to connectivity. The Beoplay HX, being the most recently released headphones, sports a Bluetooth 5.1 codec as opposed to 5.0 that is found in the BOWERS and Wilkins PX7. But don't be fooled, 5.0 already allows for Bluetooth low energy, which translates to better battery life. Yes, these two headphones are really good with battery life at 30 hours for BOWERS and Wilkins PX7 and 35 for Beoplay HX. They also have high transfer speed and a better and much stable connection than even the AirPods Max. Yep, I said it, you had me right. However,
I fumbled so much with the Bang & Olufsen HXs. I had a really hard time connecting originally. And now every time I reconnect with it, it also gives me a hard time. If I'm switching between different headphones. And it took me forever to get the app to work. And it was the same with the H95. So I think Bang & Olufsen really needs to up their game in that front because for me, that's so important. If I get frustrated and I'm oh, whatever, this is too much, then I shouldn't be feeling that if I'm buying premium headphones. The user experience should be seamless and beautiful.
Because of the Bluetooth 5.0 and higher, these two headphones can connect to two devices at once. And the connection is so stable such that you even prefer that to the Apple's automatic switching features of the AirPods Max, which can be sometimes too erratic as it tries to jump across more than 2 devices in your ecosystem. Now, let's face it, if you want to be an efficient human being, you are likely to connect to only 2 devices at once. Anything beyond that throws your attention span off the window. So these 2 headphones do a perfect job in locking you onto 2 devices at once, say your phone and laptop. All right, the much awaited feature, sound. When it comes to sound, I've been using the Bowers and Wilkins for longer. One thing that the Bowers and Wilkins has got going, of course, is the size of the drivers. Unlike many of these headphones that comes with a 40 drive or driver, it comes with a 43.6 driver. So
what does that mean?
It means that it has a larger soundstage.
I agree. The soundstage is incredible.
Yeah.
Like when I first started using it, I used it to listen to some fiction podcasts, like by Q Code. Check them out for sure. They're like these different horror or like storytelling podcasts, and they do a really good job of creating different sound effects. It's an immersive experience, and listening to them with the Bowers and Wilkins was really something else. Like you could really feel the entire stage just completely encapsulating your head. And so I think it's actually better than the B&O in terms of soundstage, for sure.
Yeah, but when it comes to Beoplay H10, of course, you still get that Beoplay Bang Olufsen sound signature of everything that is
like
balanced.
nice rawness.
Exactly. Pristine.
And even when the dancer that you see in this video, Nika, when she switched headphones and she started using the H10s, she felt the difference. She's like, oh, I can really hear this like more pierced noise.
Yeah.
And so
And
the
what did
sound
she
signature
hear?
is stronger.
Yeah, sound signature is stronger. But I always say that Bang Olufsen, they understand sound because they've been dealing with it for almost a century. Now, one way to think of the Beoplay HX is that it is a watered down version of the Beoplay H95. The sound feels somewhat thinned out. Not only is a sense of space lacking. Now, don't get me wrong. You are still getting a feel of that Bang Olufsen sound signature of pristine, clean and lively sound with beautiful instrument separation. In simple words, the timing and the accuracy and the tuning that Bang & Olufsen is known for is definitely there in the Beoplay HX. However, it is missing the punchiness, the oomph, the presence. It is simply underwhelming. What's worse is that the sound gets distorted at high volume. Should you want to crank up the volume to get more punch from your sounds. So basically you find yourself subjected to the law of diminishing returns. So you are best served if you are the kind who listens to your songs or your audio content at low volumes. If you expect to be immersed in the music you are listening to or the content you're listening to, this is definitely not the headphones for you. Now, something tells me that Bang & Olufsen was very intentional about this. They are marketing these headphones as something to be worn for long while you are at work at your home desk, almost as if the sound should be mellow, laid back, and not distractingly too present so that you can focus on work within a controlled environment. But if you expect to get a real punch out of these headphones, you'll be disappointed, especially at its price point of €500. If, however, you are perfectly fine with listening to your audio content at half or less than half the volume, then you will enjoy non-intrusive but good sound that is accurately timed and balanced across the frequency range. Now, for those who listen to audio content with the spatial audio of 360 audio reality technology, well, because there is very little sense of space with this headphone, you will not get the bang for your buck. Stick to the Bowers and Wilkins for this, as its wide sound stage makes it even better to listen to, say, Sony 360's reality audio than even Sony XM4s. And for those who would like to listen to Apple new spatial audio content, if you do not have the AirPods, you are better off with the Bowers and Wilkins PX7 again because of the large drivers. As already mentioned, the Beoplay comes with an app that helps to further tweak and control some of the settings. You can personalize the sound coming through the headphones. Already, there are some presets to play with, like optimal, open, commute, clear, and workout. If you're feeling adventurous, you can even go further and delve deeper and tinker with the low, mid, and high frequency to your taste. The equalization through the app makes a whole world of difference, so much that it makes me want to swallow my words about the downsides of the Beoplay HX sound quality. Well, almost. This is indeed a huge advantage over the Bowers and Wilkins PX7 that, although comes with a mobile app, has no option of customizing the sound. Now, I understand that Bowers and Wilkins takes pride in their proven experience in audio engineering, yet this is the kind of hubris that has no place in the future of personal devices. Companies like Bowers and Wilkins need to understand that the future is about customizability and personalization, because we are living in the age of subjectivity, because consumers will be more informed about whatever they consume. There will be less and less of brand loyalty. We see this already becoming more and more the case with millennials, the adults of the future. And hey, this is why we put up this channel, to make you all informed consumers. So if you have not subscribed, let us be an incentive to do that right away. Here. Now, furthermore on sound, Bowers and Wilkins PX7 is present and punchy, perhaps a bit too much. Every so often you feel the rumble of the low frequency and they tend to muffle the mid frequency. The sound of Bowers and Wilkins is colored and bright at the high frequency, such that at high volumes you get distortions mainly at the high end. Again, like with the Beoplay HX, to get the best out of Bowers and Wilkins, you are better off listening at half the volume. While the timing of the Bowers and Wilkins is not as accurate as that of Beoplay HX, the large sound stage makes a world of difference. Just know that with the PX7, you are playing Russian roulette with your ears. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but the point is, for some musical genres, the PX7 works perfectly, while for some others, the timing and balance is just all over the place.
So in terms of sound, which one do you prefer?
If you ask me purely sound, I will go with the Beoplay H10. And that's because I will still think of it as a backup headphone, not my main headphone.
Really?
Yeah.
You see the AirPods Max as your main headphone?
Right now, I think that when it comes to enjoying music, I go to the AirPods Max.
Yeah. For me, soundstage is more important, definitely. Then, I really enjoy the very particular sound signature of the B&O and the quality of it. But at the same time, I don't think it's a major compromise to use the Bowers and Wilkins, given the difference in soundstage. Like, I listen to a lot of podcasts, I listen to a lot of kind of spatial audio. And so for me, the Bowers and Wilkins is just a pleasant experience, and it still is really great sound.
Now, for phone calls.
Yeah, I use both for phone calls. No issues. Super easy. What about you?
With the Beoplay, it was okay. It was fine. I usually test it through even voice notes.
Okay.
And I feel like, okay, it's not really there. And for me, again, this thing about transparency not being, of good quality interferes with phone calls as well for me. Now, conclusion. Which one is the better value for money, which is why you are watching this video, right? So which one?
I would say it's a hard one. It's a really hard one. I think though, in terms of quality of sound, sound stage, price, and also kind of a bit of an underdog, you know, because I do think Bowers and Wilkins, at least as a non-audiophile, for me, it's like feels a bit more discreet. And so I may go for this one, actually, the Bowers and Wilkins, especially because if I'm going to go for a B&O one, I will save up and try to get the H95s because that one is actually the best B&O product.
Unless you are already a B&O fan and you are like, that's
because it is premium.
Yeah, it's premium. You just go and pay 500 euro for this. But the truth is this: if you've ever, even as much as tested the H95 in a store or something, and then you've tested the AirPods Max, there is no reason for you to pay 500 euro for this, because basically they watered down these headphones, you know, in relation to this.
Because AirPods Max also now are getting cheaper.
Exactly.
Like you can get them for 500 some places, you know. And so I'm not, this review is not about AirPods Max. So I don't want you to go and like buy that. It's between these two. So yeah. The Bowers & Wilkins is a solid product. Yeah. And look, he's had it for multiple years and it still works.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. Let us know what you think in the comment section. If we missed out on anything, if you own these headphones, any of them or both of them, let us know what we've missed out. And
we love to read your comments. So just tell us what you think. Tell us what other reviews you want. We're really excited to hear from you all.
And if you like the content we're putting out, please consider subscribing. But most importantly, we are looking to build like a community and a family here in this channel. And of course, we've already mentioned that we have moved to a new studio, which means there's going to be more of this kind of content coming to you from the studio, and hopefully between myself and, you know, Reem and Nika as well.
And we want to review more than just headphones. So if you also have things that you want to review, just let us know and we can really start to expand what this community is all about.
Thank you, Reem. Thank you, Nika.
Thank you, Emeka. Thank you, all of you, for watching and subscribing and liking and sharing with all your friends.
Yes, and see you in the next video. I guess have a lovely day or night, depending on your time zone. Bye-bye.